Okay, in Blackboard, in the syllabus tab at the very bottom, I do have a schedule that I'm going to try to adhere to. So you can see that we're in week 3, and I'm going to give you the rest of the day here as lab time. But due by the start of class is going to be your next project. And I'm going to get into Learning Plan 3 and get it turned on for you. In Learning Plan 3, it's what we went through today. Your exercise is going to be to make a cell phone graphic. You are going to be judged, graded, on using all the skills you've learned so far. So shape building, making shapes, complex shapes by combining a couple of shapes. If your phone is an old phone, I'll show you some old examples, but if your phone is an example that has the numbers, you know, all of those numbers should be the same size rectangle, and they should be spaced perfectly, not spaced by hand. You should use the tools in Illustrator to space them out. And then also using layers and proper naming techniques. So I shouldn't see layer 1, path, 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 path. You're going to need to name it like we kind of did today, make it clear and obvious. And there's a rubric here that I also have a paper printout for you. I found in the past that when I give it to you, 9 out of 10 people lose it. And it is something that I want stapled to the front. So if you feel like you can handle keeping this, it's up here and you can physically take one with you, which is helpful to see what I'm expecting. It's also on Blackboard, and I'm attempting to open it now. But this will have to be stapled on top of a printout, a physical printout in the rubric or due back, plus the file gets uploaded to Blackboard. So once this opens, I'll be able to show you what I'm expecting from you. Of course, it's taking forever. Okay, back in the day when this first was assigned, most cell phones had buttons on them. Now we're all just screens. So you can't take the easy way out and make a rounded rectangle that's black and put a rounded rectangle that's light gray inside it and call it done, because that's what your phone looks like. You're going to have to show me what maybe some of your apps look like. Oh, for crying out loud. Do I really have to do all this just to show you something? Oh boy, hold on. Start using Word. Yes, please. Wow, who would have thought this would take so long? Open. All right, let's try this again. Rubric. Download it. Oh, apparently I didn't put the rubric on there. I put the syllabus. Okay, I'll get that up there. In the meantime, you're all going to get a paper copy. 1, 2, 1. You guys would have oh, don't let me flip that. Yeah. What is BlackBerry? Oh, I did too. They were long. Yeah, that was trouble. That's all right.
Cell phone using shape, Dave. Is that what I'm hearing?
Okay. So let's look at this rubric since I linked the wrong file. So competency, create a graphic that represents a cell phone. It will be made up of multiple shapes and have detail to represent buttons, screens, etc. Use layers and naming techniques that we just practiced today as well. So this is a 35-point assignment. I'm going to see, are your layers used and properly named? 0 to 5 points. Arrange shapes to look clean and precise. In other words, if you have all the touch buttons for your numbers, are they all the same size and spaced out evenly, not manually, messily done? The graphic contains detail and shows effort. Okay, effort's a little subjective, but for those of you that give me 2 rectangles inside of each other and maybe take the type tool and write Saturday 11:11 p.m. and call it good, because that's how your phone looks, not quite as much effort, okay? You have to show me what you've learned. You have 6 projects to show me that you're understanding Illustrator throughout the course of this year, okay? Resize objects as needed. Your finished graphic needs to fit on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Okay, it doesn't need to be 8.5 by 11, it just needs to fit on here. Print and staple this rubric to the front and submit the Illustrator file to Blackboard. So if you do that, you also get 5 points. I can show you a couple of really old examples online and then also on the overhead projector. I'm not saying that these are awesome, just showing you some examples. This one is pretty rudimentary, but to be honest, there's a lot of shapes going on here, right? There is a lot going on here. The answer and hang up buttons had to be made using shapes. These had to be made. Are they the exact same size and are they spaced out and centered? Things like that I would be looking for. You're just eyeballing it. The gradient fill here is just in your swatches, there's a gradient. So somebody found that, somebody found this pattern and chucked it in there. Okay, that's an example of something. Let me show you another one on here and then I'll show you several on the overhead. Okay, here's one that has buttons. And this took some effort, right? Okay, let's look at some on the overhead projector, which I don't think is going to show in my video. So I'll locate some of the icons.
So if I have a brick, I could use that.
Whatever it needs to be, but show effort and detail.
Do you remember the old phone bags?
Yes, yeah, sadly. So, again, don't take the easy way out with 3 rectangles and think that you're going to get a good score on this. You don't have to go crazy like this either. But it's kind of fun to look at like an iPhone or a Galaxy with all the icons like Facebook or whatever they are and try to recreate them using shapes. How we've learned right now, or the eraser to shave them off. All these different things we've learned so far, you can recreate a lot of these. So this is your assignment. It's due at the start of class next week. So you have an hour and 5 minutes now, plus the rest of the week to work on this. This lab is open on noon hours, always, if you want to stay longer or pop in. And anytime we're not teaching a class in here, you're welcome to be in here as well. So tomorrow morning, I have a class in here. Tomorrow afternoon, Design Fundamentals is not in here.
Mm-hmm.
Usually there's a thing out front that shows the rooms, and when they're grayed out, they're in use. And if they're not, you can be in here. So poke your head in. If Kelly or Mary is in here, but they're not lecturing, they're on work time, if you say, can I work in the back? They'll probably say yes. If nobody's in here, you're free to be in here. Okay? And there's 4 Macs in the library with the Adobe Suite on them. Okay. Any other questions or concerns? Yes?
Do you want this to end before class or during class?
It's due by the time class starts. So it's due by 7:59 a.m. or earlier. Yep. If they're hard, like the Snapchat ghost, I'm not sure we've learned enough to make those, but I don't want you to fill it with pictures. I don't want you to go and find a bunch of pictures on the web and place them in your Illustrator document. I want you to draw out shapes and merge shapes and shave off parts of shapes to do your best job. So yes, do not do that. No, do not do that, however that goes. You need to draw everything on here, not plop in images. So if the Snapchat icon is too hard, don't do it. Find another one. Facebook, you can find a letter F and put it on a blue square pretty darn easily, right? You can do that one. Twitter, you can do pretty easily. So, yeah, have fun with it. When you look at your phone, if it has 17 icons and they're all hard, you don't have to do all 17 of them, nor do you have to do all the hard ones. Kind of scan around and have fun with it. Or do your dialing screen, where the numbers and the letters are on it. And practice making all the circles or all the squares line up in a perfect dialing screen. Touchpad. Okay? Any other questions? Yes.
If I have a crack on my phone, can I draw that?
You want to draw the crack in? You go ahead. And if your phone is shattered and it's a hot mess and you think you're going to cover up your work with a big shatter point, no, don't do that.
But that is realism.
I know, but I want to see that you can draw an Illustrator. That's the goal here. Show me your basic Illustrator skills, chapters 1 through 4, and properly naming and using layers. Okay, that's the goal.